What's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and today we're going to look at runes. Somebody was asking me about this on one of my other videos. So let me try to answer some of these questions. So basically, when we're talking about runes, we're trying to figure out what are we choosing and why. A lot of the times, the keystone choice that you're going to make is going to be champion specific or matchup specific. I'm not going to talk about all of that. The things that I'm going to talk about are the things that are easy to convert into gold values. And some of them I'll do easily, and some of them it'll be really difficult. But that's just the way it is. So we can start off with adaptive force. So 9 adaptive force is equal to 9 times 35, or 9 times 21.75. So if you're getting attack damage, it's worth 315 gold. If you're getting ability power, it's worth 195 gold. If you're getting attack speed, it's worth 250 gold. If you're getting ability haste, let's see. Ability haste is a little different. Ability haste. Is it still 26.66? 266? So let's just say 266. So most of the time people go attack speed to make their auto attacks feel better, or you go the adaptive force because it's just more raw power. I think I could do as much math as I want. People aren't going to change doing that. It sometimes it depends on champions. Like maybe there's certain thresholds that you can get through by using the ability haste instead of the adaptive force or the attack speed. But that's probably where you're going to end up is the adaptive force. Now, a different question you could ask yourself is if adaptive force incentivizes going AD, and let's just assume that we go through here and we find a bunch of other stuff that's really good for AD champions. A question you could ask yourself would be like, are runes currently set up to favor attack damage champions over ability power champions? And that's a possibility. Then you have to take that one step further. Like, the champions that are popular in this game, are they better for attack damage or are they better for ability power champions? And then another level of that is, are the items favoring AD champions or AP champions? And you can like go through all the different game system things that are fixed in every match. Personally, I think you'd probably find something, but I don't have enough time to go through the whole thing in one sitting, like methodically. And maybe I will one day, but right now I don't. So tier 1, tier 2. So we have the same thing. We have 315, 195.8. Why is it 195.8? Whatever. And then we have 6 armor. 6 armor is worth 120. And we have magic resist, and magic resist is equal to 8 times 18. So that's 144. So again, adaptive force is worth more. The reason why you would switch into one of these is if you're like on the defensive side of a matchup in mid lane, for example. Like let's say you have a really bad matchup and you want to get a little extra health, effective health against a specific type of damage. You can go double defense runes. Theoretically. I have a piece of hair that's really bothering me. Alright, then we can go to health. So at the low end, 15 equals 15 times. It's between 40 to 240. Then we have the same two other values for defensive stats. So we'll just copy those down there. So So this is where we're at for the first part. And this is just for these runes down here. So it's like all this. So according to the numbers, and this is completely agnostic of everything else that's going on in the game, which you can use as a starting point, but it's not a good end point. You would probably say to yourself, you know, I want both adaptive forces, right? And then the last one is the most even one. So once you get to equals 45 times 2.6. Once you get to about 45 health, probably 45 to 50. $60. So this is probably like a level 11 level 11 breakpoint. So after level 11, the amount of health you get out of this is probably going to be better. But I guess that does change when like if you're a champion that builds a lot of health, then you probably want the armor or the magic resistance because it's going to scale better. That's really a question for somebody like Freak. Freak would probably know that off the top of his head. The break even point. Yeah, because it's going to come down to effective health, like which one's giving you more effective health throughout the game. Yeah, so that's it for that part. So let's just try to get through some of this, and we'll see how far we get before I want to go to sleep because I'm tired. It's been a long day of shoveling. Okay, so let's do keystones first for the precision tree. So these are really difficult to quantify because they're meant to be played around in like burst situations, and like specific situations. The keystones are made for specific situations, and when you pick it, you're supposed to seek out those types of situations. For example, press the attack. I play a lot of Trundle, and it allows me to do a lot more damage in these quick trades with people or chase them down because I have a speed bonus over most champions I'm playing against at the same time. Lethal Tempo, these are for 80 carries. For Azir, well, Azir's not an 80 carry, but for 80 carries, champions like Azir, champions like Kayle, you could make something like Lethal Tempo work. So you're going to get up to 110% attack speed at level 18. So what's 110% attack speed? Equals 110 times 25. So that's 2,750 gold for Lethal Tempo. And it's going to be pretty obvious that some of these are more powerful than other things. It makes them vulnerable. So like for something like this, you have to ask yourself, what is 8 to 12% damage amplification worth? And that's a bunch of math I'm not trying to do right now. How much gold is a point of damage worth? That's another difficult question. It can be answered, but I'm not the guy to answer it right now. Fleet footwork, energized, attacks heal you, and grant 20% movement speed. So we can do movement speed. Fleet equals 20 times 30. 20 times 39.5 is about 800. And this is a good instructive point, I guess. Obviously, at level 8, it's tough to compare level 18 Lethal Tempo to like laning phase Fleet Footwork because this is going to keep you alive in the early game, which makes a late game possible for you. There are a lot of times where you pick something like Lethal Tempo and you don't have enough lane presence or ability to stay in lane, and then you get forced out and then you just lose the game. So it's you have to know what situations you might find yourself in the game and then pick keystones and runes accordingly. Conqueror stacks was 12 times. So let's do 24, 60. We'll just do the maximum value. So it's 60 times 35 equals 60 times 21.75. Okay, so with Conqueror, you're getting between 20. You're getting between 1300 to 2100 just based off of the adaptive force, which is really good, obviously. And then you get a 9% heal. You heal for 9% of the damage you deal to champions. So that's really like an Omnivamp. We don't really have Omnivamp. So let's do 9% equals 9 times 37.5. That's equal to 337.5. And that's probably not the best number to use because you're also healing off of your abilities and stuff like that. So that's only a portion of it. But you can see, like, if you're a fully stacked AD champion with Conqueror, you're probably getting very close to the lethal tempo value. The condition, like, you, for those of you who are familiar with coding and stuff like that, or just philosophy or logic in general, you're going to know, like, you have to meet a condition to take advantage of these keystones. So the condition to proc lethal tempo or fleet footwork is easier to do than Conqueror. So that's just something to keep in the back of your mind. But press the attack. I don't know how to do the math for this one, because like it's definitely useful. Like, whoever can figure out how much gold damage is worth, I think that's a worthwhile question to pursue. The closest that I got to trying to answer that question was like, damage is equal to health. Damage is equal to negative effective health. So you have to calculate the value of the effective health on a champion and how much that's worth, and then just subtract that from the champion. But the difference between doing 1900 damage and 2000 damage to a 2000 health champion is close to, not infinite, but like, you know what I mean. Just the degree is so much more significant the closer you get to that 2000 number. Okay, so overheal. Excess healing on you becomes a shield for up to 10 plus 10% of your max health. Shield is built up. So let's say you can get 150 health. So equals 150 times 2.667. And let's say it was 250, so it equals 250 times 2.667. So if you are a 1500 health champion, you're getting about 400 gold. If you are a 2500 health champion, you're getting about 666 health. If you get the overheal. Triumph restores 12% of your missing health and grants an additional 20 gold. So the value of Triumph is equal to the number of times, your number of takedowns times 20. So it's equals number of takedowns times 20 plus 12% plus the health value of 12% plus the health value plus your missing health times 0.12 times the value of HP. So let's say you're a 2000 health champion that's missing 1000 health. You would get 120. And then it'd be 120 times 2.667. So right around 300. 250, 300. Just wait. I'll just do it. Equals 120 times 2.667 is equal to 320. Okay. So if you want to compare that to the overheal, you would need to get 4 kills, and then, like, let's say, I guess it wouldn't be for an AD carry. That's basically enough. I think I got you enough on that one. Presence of Mind. Damaging an enemy champion increases your mana regeneration. All energy users take down resort. This is a tough one, so I guess, again, you'd have to say, like, if you have 2,000 mana and you're missing 1,000 mana, you get back 150 mana. Mana is worth 1.4, so it equals 150 times 1.4. It's going to be 100 or 200, 300 gold. The reason why you're taking something like this is for the mana regeneration in lane. This isn't going to increase your ceiling in a late game team fight, basically. which is where I think most people try to build what most people try to build around between their items and their runes and stuff like that. Because there are other ways to survive lane. Like you can use a Doran's item, you can use a refillable pot, you can do all these other types of things. You can have your jungler just camp your lane. So this one is a good one. Alacrity. Gain 3% attack speed plus an additional 1.5 for every legend stack. So that's 15, that's 18 attack speed. So equals 18 times 25. So that's worth 450. Tenacity is worth 25, 30%. 30%. So for tenacity, let's see, tenacity. Okay, so tenacity is the kind of thing where there isn't a gold value of it because it's derived from the value of mercury treads. So mercury treads give you 30% tenacity. And it costs 1,100 gold. So it'd be 1,100 minus the cost of the magic resistance, minus the cost of the flat movement speed, and you're left with 110 gold. So they're saying that tenacity is worth... they're saying that 30% tenacity is worth about 110 gold. I think everyone could agree that tenacity is worth more than 110 gold because of what it allows you to do in the game. So this might be a spot where Riot's basically telling you, yeah, 30% attack speed is really nice, but 30% attack speed is worth about the same. So then you'd have to make some kind of adjustment. Or 18% attack speed versus 30% tenacity. So if you want to make the argument that tenacity is worth the same as attack speed, then you could say, like, in reality, because of the scarcity of tenacity, it's actually worth closer to 30. It's actually closer to worth 450 gold. And I could see that. Like at some point, a lot of champions that, if you gave them the choice of attack speed versus tenacity, the attack speed would potentially give them more damage if you could continuously just beat on the same thing. But that doesn't happen as often, so tenacity, if it allows you to get off one or two more attacks in a team fight because you're not being slowed as long, it's just, there's not as much math. That's more of game situation stuff. And then 0.6 times 15 is 9. And then it's 9 times 37.5. That's 337.5. So if you have Alacrity at 450, Tenacity at 110, and Bloodline at 337, it's funny because I think Bloodline is probably the most valuable in multiple situations for champions that can use lifesteal. So for like AD carries or bruisers or whoever, like that lifesteal feels so strong at the end of a game. Just speaking from personal preference. But again, that's why you look at stuff like this, because the numbers can tell you one thing, your feelings can tell you another thing, and you have to figure out which one you're going to follow. All right. Then we have deal 8% more damage to champions who have less than 40% health. Deal 5 to 15% more damage to champions based on how much more health they have. And then we have deal 5 to 11% increased damage to champions while you're below 60% health. So this is the kind of thing where coup de grace is the easiest to play around, because if you can almost kill the champion, then you're going to get 8% more damage. That's always good. Cut down, if you're a tank, you never want to pick cut down because you're going to have more max health than everybody. So cut down's more for AD carries and low health champions. Last stand, dealing 5 to 11%. The condition is just so hard to deal with Last Stand, and that's why it's either broken on certain champions or it's not good. So for like Olaf, you deal more damage. That's great when you're lower because you, especially in the Gorge Anchor meta. So Last Stand in the Gorge Anchor meta is actually really powerful. But I'm not going to do the math on that. Then we have a damage ability. I'm not doing the math on that. The move speed, you could do move speed. So let's see, 45%. So Predator active equal to 45 times 39.5. That's 1,775 gold. Dark Harvest is too difficult. Gain 110% attack speed. So Hail of Blades equals 110 times 25. That's 2,750. So in that brief spurt of time that you can use Hail of Blades, you get to 2,750. It's pretty good. Yeah, so I guess that's... Maybe I should be playing... I still think Press the Attack is better, but... Was Hail of Blades Trundle ever a thing? Damaging champions with impaired movement or actions deals additional damage. I'm not doing additional damage. Healing, I'm not doing additional healing. Sudden impact, we can do this. So 7 lethality or 6 magic pen. So that's roughly the same. It's 157.5 or 188. But again, this is the kind of thing where you're most likely picking it because you're an assassin and you want to squeeze out as much damage as possible, but you don't necessarily have a cheap shot to do true damage. Cooldowns are the same. Zombie War. Okay, so all three we can do. All three of these we can do. Okay, so it's 12 plus 10, so it's 22 and 30, right? So it's 22 attack damage. So that's... For attack damage, it's 770. For AP, it's 652.5. This should be the same thing. Okay, so Ghost Poro is the same. Up to 10 stacks at 10 seconds. Yeah, so that's the same. Gain an adaptive of 1.2. Upon completing your collection at 10 eyeballs, additionally gain an adaptive bonus of 6 attack damage or 10 ability power. So this is lower, right? Is there a cap to eyeball collection? It used to be 20, now it's 10. Interesting. And then these we can do it. We can do these as well. So Omnivamp. So 1%. 1 equals 1.7 times 5 plus 1. 1.7 times 5 plus 1 is equal to 9.5 equals 9.5 times 37.5 is equal to 356. And that's not giving you the real value because it's not also lifesteal. It's not also for abilities. It's just for lifesteal. So there's additional upside there. Gain 10 item haste plus an additional 5 item haste. I don't know how to calculate item haste. Gain 5 move speed out of combat plus 8 per bounty hunter stack. So 45 flat move speed. 45 flat move speed equals 45 times 12. That's 540. They should really nerf Relentless Hunter. Ultimate Hunter. Your ultimate gains. This isn't even the full value of ability haste, so I'm not doing this. So it's really 540. Otherwise, like if this is more of a situationally specific thing. Same thing with Ingenious Hunter. And that's part of the reason why nobody uses them. It's too difficult. Not too difficult. It's too annoying to play around the condition. Alright, Airy. Not doing shielding, not doing damage. We could do this. 25 to 40% movement speed based on level. This is increased to 40 to 60% for melee champions. So let's just do 40. So equals 40 times 39.5. That's equal to 1,580 gold at 40%. Obviously, that's level 18 for a lot of champions, so it's not really that relevant. So equals 25 times percent move speed, 39.5. Worst case scenario, it's equal to about 1,000 gold, which is good. And situationally, it's very strong. When you take damage, that reduces you below 30%. So this is a conditional shield. It could save your life, or you could use it 0 times in a game. So for this, you could do like 120 as the value, so it equals 120 times 2.667. That's 320 health. But if it helps you survive against a burst damage champion, the theoretical value is the value of your champion. Mana Flow Band. So 250 mana equals 250 times 1.4. That's 350. So we have 320, 350, and movement speed. So this is another one. You could just do the 20. The movement speed is actually really good. So equals, let's say it's 5% times 39.5. That'd be 200 gold. If it was 10, that's 395. So then you're asking yourself, do I want the most gold efficient one, which is Nimbus Cloak? Or do I want the 250 mana? Or do I want a shield that might save my life? And that's why I think most people just go Mana Flow Band and Nimbus Cloak. They pick one of these because of they are more valuable, but they also represent more situations that are important, I think. On Champion Takedown. Gain bonuses upon reaching the... Okay, so is it 5 plus 5? So 10 ability haste. So... that's 267 for the ability haste. On Champion Takedown, reduce the remaining cooldown of basic abilities by 20%. I can't do that. All movement bonuses are 7% more effective on you and gain 1% move speed. 1% move speed is equal to 39.5. Probably not the best. While above 70% health. 18 AD or 30 AP. And this is the kind of thing where it's so much more powerful than people realize, because the amount of time that you spend at 70% or greater in a team fight, like, really depends on how well the team fight is going. So gain an adaptive bonus up to 18 attack damage or 30 ability power. So 18 times 35. This is the kind of thing that makes me think that Overheal, like, if you can play around that 70% number and keep yourself topped off, then it's better. Equals 30 times 21.75. 650. So the AP is worth slightly more. Scorch, not doing damage. 25 flat movement speed equals 25 times 12. And then that's why I love water walking. Water walking, you're getting absolute focus on water walking. Like, if you think absolute focus is good, water walking is even better. It's just that you have to fight in the river. But think about the number of fights that you have in the river. It's just so powerful. It's 300 plus 630 or 652. Like, this is such a good rune a lot of people don't use. So like when you're a jungler, when I play jungle, I go boom boom for my secondary tree. And then Gathering Storm is pretty insane. The most important values for Gathering Storm are at the 20-minute mark and the 30-minute mark, because that's when all these dragon and baron fights are happening. So equals 14 times 35 equals 29 times 35. So between 490 to 1015. And then equals 24 times 21.75 equals 48. Yeah, so they're about the same. 490 to 522 and 1015 to 1044. So yeah, the 20 to 30 minute mark is good, but water walking, you get so much. Water walking is probably, it's really not that much more consistent. You miss out on the movement speed, but that's really what you have to kind of make your decision between. Is once you get to the 30-minute mark, Gathering Storm is better in raw power. There you go. Grasp of the Undying. I can't do this one. Aftershock. Aftershock is crazy because of the amount of armor and magic resistance you get. So let's just do 35 for each. So equals 35 times 20 is equal to 700 equals 35 times 18 is equal to 630. So every time that you proc Aftershock, you're getting about 1,300 gold worth of stats on a 20-second cooldown. That's really good. Yeah. That's really good. Alright, can't do that. Demolish is really good. It depends on how many Demolish procs you're going to get off and how many turret plates it allows you to get. So this value fluctuates greatly. Font of Life is really fun. I think that's kind of underrated. Shield Bash, gain 1 to 10 armor and magic resist. While shielded, gain 1 to 10 armor and magic resistance based on level. So let's just do 10. Let's do 5. Equals 5 times 20 is 100 and equals 5. I'm tired. I'm not doing any math. 5 times 18 is 90. And that's at level like 9. Whenever you gain a shield, your next basic attack against a champion deals 5 to 30. So yeah, that's fine. The other ones are obviously more valuable. Wait, no. If you have a shield that you can use very often, then I think Shield Bash is actually pretty underrated. Because you are getting defensive stats, and you also get to use the. You also get to use the damage effect. Conditioning, 9 armor and 9 magic resistance. So it's equal to 180 plus 162. So right when you hit the 12-minute mark, you get about 340 gold worth of stats. And then you get an additional 5%. I don't know what the average gold value is at that point. or how that number fluctuates as time goes on, but it scales, so that's good. After taking damage from an enemy champion, heal 4%. So this is just because you want to survive in lane. That's really all you're doing it for. Same thing for this. So these two are surviving lane. This one's I'm going to be fine in lane. I want to scale. This one is gain additional 3.5% max health. So 3.5% max health, so 1,000. So it's 35. So equals 35 times 2.667 for every 1,000 health you have. So if you have 1,000 health, it's 93.35. If you have 2,000 health, it's 180. If you have 3,000 health, it's 270. And then you get the 3.5. Wait, gain 3 max health for every 8. So there's a separate value in there too. So it's 2.667. So it's like 7. So you get 7 gold worth of you get 7 gold's worth of health equals. You get 8 gold. You get 8 gold's worth of health for every 8 minions or monsters that die near you. that you die near. So if you get to 80, that's 10 times. So that's 80 gold. 240. So that'd be like, wait, so 8 gold for every 8 monsters. So 1 gold per monster, and every time that you hit an 8th monster, you get more. So then it'd be 30. So 240. Yeah, 240 is maybe a realistic number to get to. 5% heal and shield power. That's worth 35 gold each. So 35 times 5. That's 175. So 175, you could do that. That's about the 160 that you get to. So Revitalize could be good if you're constantly shielding. I think that's pretty reasonable. And then Tenacity and Slow Resist, we already went through that. It depends on your value of Tenacity. Can't do that. Omnistone's really cool. I love Omnistone. Hextech Flash Traption. I love Hextech Flash Traption. I think it's an incredible rune. I don't like Magical Footwear as much as other people do. That 10 move speed is equal to 10 times 12. That's 120. So you're trading the ability to buy boots for like 8 or 9 minutes for 120 gold. Actually, no, it's 120 plus 300, so 420 gold. 420, nice. Stopwatches were 650. So it's like 650 versus 420 versus something else. Begin the game with a convincing stopwatch that transforms into a stopwatch. Yeah, so that's basically it. It is pretty good. Futures market. I did a separate video on this. I don't think anything has changed, so you'd have to go check out that other video. Biscuits can't really quantify, or I don't want to quantify them. These are 2 specific kinds of hastes. I don't really want to do that. 7.5% move speed towards champions. The bonus is increased to 15% move speed for any enemy champion that you impair. Consuming a potion. Alright, so we'll do these 2. So these are the last 2. So let's do approach velocity towards an enemy. Is 15 times 39.5. That's equal to 592 gold. Or 5. I also like Time Warp Tonic a lot because you get that instantly. That can be a lifesaver. But if you're really good at using pots, I'm not very good at using pots personally. But if you are, you see it it's a little bit less beneficial, but in those burst situations, they're really good. 5% move speed while under the effect, so equals 5 times 39.5. That's 197.5 gold. All right, that didn't take as long as I thought it was going to. That's 40 minutes. That's all I got for you. If you want to go back, if you want to know any of the math that I did, just go back and listen to me do it again, because I'm not doing timestamps and all that kind of stuff. I got all these random numbers on here from doing the math on it fast. But for those of you who like this kind of stuff, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.